Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Trader Summit, and with me today I have Mr. Dick Matthews. He's joining us from sunny UK.
Actually, it's pitch black outside.
Oh, well, I'm just praying. I just pray for you every day
Pray.
that you're going to see some
Hey,
sun.
when it's sunny, it's really cold now. I went swimming over the weekend. I went swimming on Saturday, and the air temperature is 2 degrees centigrade. And I went in the water, and the water felt warm, and the water was 11 degrees centigrade, and I didn't feel my fingers the rest of the day.
That's ridiculous. I don't know how you do it, but anyway, your fingers must feel kind of like the feeling that dollar bulls have right now. It's cold to the bone. You've been talking in recent weeks and months that you got to buy dollars and wear diamonds, but the dollar has been under pressure. Tell us what your thoughts are on the dollar and why has the dollar been driven down lower as of late?
I think there's several reasons behind it, and I'm not convinced they're right. Traditionally, year-end dollars get sold, and I think for the last 6 years the dollar's been sold into December, and that might be playing. But I do know that actually Michael Brown came out with that quote because he told me off for saying it was someone else. So Michael Brown tells me that the dollar's been sold off every year for the last 6 years. So I think there's a little bit of that. I think there's a bit of liquidation coming into month end, year end. Book your profits, pack up your bag, go away for a month or so until January. And I think that people think the Fed's going to ease. I don't think they are. I still like the dollar. Every article I read is saying the dollar's going to weaken next year. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, you can't. You don't meet any. I said this. I've been saying this week. It's like you don't meet any dollar bulls, and you don't meet any gold or precious metal bears either.
No.
It is an interesting phenomenon about the dollar. The thing that comes to my mind, Dick, is that you're an asset manager. Let's say you're managing a few $100 million dollars, you name it. You're in your mid 30s to mid 40s, maybe mid 50s. And every economist that you listen to has been all of 2022 or 23, excuse me, has been recessions coming, the economy's slowing. Stocks yet have been up. S&P, just using the S&P as a benchmark's been up about 18% for the year. So, how much of it is, FOMO, and I have to sell dollars, get it working, chase the markets higher. I mean, does that play into any of this equation?
Yeah, it may well. The stock market's very strong. I actually think people keep saying, "Oh, the U.S. economy is exceptional and exceptionalism," talking about it. I actually think they're right. I do think the U.S. economy is exceptional. Look at Germany; it's an absolute basket case. They can't produce anything. They've got the squeeze on from China. China's exporting cheap electric vehicles to them, so they won't buy expensive German vehicles. So I think Europe's got real problems. The economy's slowing very quickly. Bank lending slowing real quick in Europe as well. So I find that just look at the fundamentals. Why would I buy the euro when the economy's slowing so quickly? I mean, I know that you've got a great partner, Stelia, so I absolutely adore. And I did hear that the ex-Greek finance minister suggesting to Germany that maybe Germany could sell some of its islands to pay its deficit off, remembering that the Germans said that to the Greeks a few years ago. That did make me laugh.
I'm sure that is actually a funny one. Well, let me ask you this, Dick. Can you see a world where the U.S. economy is slowing to such an extent that the Fed has to cut rates, but
no,
the rest of but the rest of the world is not slowing? I mean, because that's what the euro dollar basically looks like right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
there's kind of a reversion to the mean, and you got maybe people saying, okay, well, maybe the Fed's not going to be hiking rates anymore, but does that constitute as big of a move as we've seen? in the dollar. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. If you.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, I saw a number that the Fed Watch or whatever was, betting that the Fed will cut in May. I don't see why it needs to. Employment levels are still really healthy in the States. That's, they've got a dual mandate: unemployment and inflation. Inflation's still above target, and unemployment's still really, really good. I don't see them cutting rates. Whereas I think Europe, as they tend to do in everything, will fold and run up a white flag very quickly.
well, I guess we're going to see what's going to happen with the dollar. Well, how about we should let me just target the sterling. I mean, here we got the cables trading around 127. It's quite strong. It looks good against the euro. How do you feel about the UK economy? How do you feel about the sterling where we're at right now?
I can understand it against the euro for the reasons we were just talking about. We had this mini budget last week, the autumn statement,
market liked
where they're trying to pump some money into the economy to get the economy going. I just think cable's a bit giddy up here. I think the fear, I guess maybe people are buying it, saying that he's putting money into people's pockets, they're going to spend, and inflation are going to lift off again pretty quickly. So interest rates might stay higher here for longer than elsewhere. So I guess that's the reason for buying cable. I think that he's actually handed the almost certain next government's going to be Labour, have handed them an absolute hospital pass. You're going to get inflation back in. You're going to get a slowing economy. There's a fiscal drag because some of our tax allowances haven't been raised in line with inflation. So, I'm going to be poorer from April, whatever it is next year. So the incoming chancellor, the lovely Rachel Reeves, is going to really face a mess. But having said that, I'd buy sterling over euros, and I'd be tempted to sell a bit of cable here. It might bounce up a little bit more just on, year end pressures, but it's tricky.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're a little, unsure about FX moves. We were discussing before we hit record here today a little bit about crude oil. Tell us your thoughts on crude and what's happening there.
Yeah, I'm confused there as well. To be honest, I'm just Dick Matthews confused. I look at it and I look at the US economy. I think that's not heading for a recession. Everything looks pretty fine and dandy to me, as we were just saying. Employment's not too bad. Things are buzzing along pretty well. There's one or two warning signs out there, but there's not enough of a warning sign for me to short oil, which I would traditionally do coming into a recession. So I'm really sort of, why would I want to be short of oil coming into winter? As we've talked about before, you've still got huge uncertainty in the Middle East. Thankfully, it hasn't gotten out of hand as I thought it might do. And I guess the exchange of hostages plays into the dampening effect on oil. But, and OPEC, I suppose, are mucking around, delaying meetings and whatever, whilst they get together and agree something in the background. But I just don't, it's just not logical to me, because recession should be the driver. I don't think we're facing a recession in the US, and we're coming into winter. I'll tell you something, I was saying earlier, it is really cold here, early as well.
Yeah, it has. Well, let's say, I guess, let's see if it moves energy costs. Currencies out the door. Crude, not so sure. But you do have something on the radar that you are looking at. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing.
Now I'm the Bitcoin expert at my grand old age. I am privy to I work in a company that's involved in crypto asset trading, and I see some of the data going through. And I've noticed in the last few days, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks, that the proportion of transactions going through which are Bitcoin are higher than they have been for some time. And that really interests me with what's going on in the background of the market. What we talked about a couple of weeks back about 700,000 new addresses being formed. Is there a bit of resale coming in the market? Is Bitcoin poised for a jump up? Or am I going to be incorrect as I always am on predictions, and it's time to sell it. But I just wonder whether that there's a few signals there, and it could be in for a bit of a bash upwards.
All right. Well, that I know that the reason why crypto's been pretty well bid, and especially Bitcoin, is an ETF that should be launched within the next month, 2 months or so. But it is definitely kept Bitcoin higher, and it's also kept a lot of attention on the crypto space.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, my side of the crypto space is actually using it in transactions. Is transactional crypto, using Tether and using that as a replacement for using dollars, because it's quicker and easier to settle, and that's really my interest in it. To me, it's just another currency, but the speed of it and the ease of it is mind-boggling to me compared to traditional banking.
Well,
here ended the lesson.
Yeah, well, that's something that those of us that are not so much into crypto should really pay attention to. Now, speaking of which, Richard, tell us about where you're at and how we can follow your work.
I'm at a company called One.io. We're on Twitter as One.io. Myself, I'm on Twitter at Dickie Matthews with a 5 instead of an S, and I'm on LinkedIn, or just give us a like and a thumbs up and ask any questions. I'm always happy to talk about the markets.
It's called X now. Just
X. Oh yeah, X, Twitter. Yeah. in my book, that's cross a trade.
You are old school. So Richard, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today here on the Traders Summit. I always love catching up with you, and I look forward to I mean, now that you're feeling a little bit better, I know you were under the weather. It's nice to have you back. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Which I think has got Michael Brown on, which is always fun.
Yeah, it'll be a great one.
Look forward to it. Cheers, Blake. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey traders, Blake Morrow here. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also click the bell notifications so you do not miss any of our market-related trading analysis from some of the leading industry experts. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in the next video.